Good day, parents and children. Welcome to another installment of our JJ&Friends Educational Talk, our Edu Talk series. And today, we are going to talk about a topic that's very important to the foundational skills of reading for your children. We are focusing on our JTab Junior suite. Today, our topic will be phonemic awareness. What is phonemic awareness? Phonemic awareness is the ability to recognize sounds within words. Yes, the sounds. That's what we're dealing with phonemic awareness. We are not dealing with the letters, we are only dealing with the sounds. Remember, when a child is growing up from 0, 1 day, all the way up to adulthood, we communicate by transmitting words, and words are made up of sounds. So, phonemic awareness, therefore, is an important precursor to reading. So yes, it affects what we hear, affects what we say, but what we hear affects what we read. Reading is also a form of communication, and reading is the code that we use to communicate on paper what we are hearing, what we are feeling, what we like to say to others. Phonemic awareness is not and does not replace phonics and reading. Yes, it is a skill, and it sounds very much like phonics, but it's different. It's the awareness of the sound. That's what phonemic awareness is. Okay? So it's different. Phonemic awareness is the ability to recognize sounds within words. And you will be saying, what is phonemic awareness? And it's just that. When we speak or when others speak, we are transmitting sound. Phonemic awareness is all about the sounds that's being transmitted, yeah? So these sounds that are being transmitted need to be processed by the brain. And the processing of these sounds has a term. Yes, it's called auditory processing. No, you don't need to know the term for everyday life. I'm just telling you so that you'll have an idea where we're going with phonemic awareness, because it's a new term for most of you. Phonemic awareness is directly impacted by the auditory processing of the sounds we hear. So when we pick up these sounds in our ear and they're transmitted to the brain, that process is called auditory processing. It is how we process the content we hear and apply it as needed. Easy? Good. What your child hears will affect how they learn at an early age. It can affect how they speak and ultimately how well they read. Reading isn't automatic. Speaking isn't automatic. We learn to speak by listening to those around us, and we see babies mimicking what we say. It is therefore important that children hear correctly. And hearing correctly, you may say, that's strange. But if there's something impeding the hearing, it's difficult. Since hearing affects how we process the environmental sounds we hear, as well as the words we listen to. So if there's something stuck in our ear, if there's something impacted there, then it will be difficult to hear the environmental sounds like a speeding car, or you may be listening to people speak and what they're saying to you, you may not quite be hearing them because something is wrong with the transmission of the sound. Phonemic awareness is directly impacted by the child's auditory processing. So, what the child hears is going to affect their understanding of the sounds of the language that we speak. If you think your child is having difficulty with their hearing, please seek out an audiologist. Who's an audiologist? An audiologist is someone who checks your child's hearing. So if you find that your child, maybe 4 or 5, and your child, probably even if your child is 3, and your child may not be stringing words together as yet, because there are a lot of 3-year-olds can make some very, very long sentences. They can carry on a conversation. But if you see your child having difficulty in stringing the words together, stringing the sounds together to form words, you would need to get your child's hearing checked. Okay? Let's talk about some environmental sounds. We're talking about teaching your children to read, but a lot of things influence that, as we have discussed previously. Environmental sounds, that's, some of those influencers. And what I encourage parents to do is to purposefully listen to environmental sounds with their children. Listen to the cars passing by. Listen to the birds whistling sweetly early in the morning. Purposeful listening to environmental sounds can help in building auditory skills. Whenever I say auditory, think listening. Yes, it's a new word for many of us, but whenever I say it, think listening, think processing those things that we hear. Good? There are some activities that you could do with your child or children in order to hone their ability to perceive sound well. You could let them close their eyes when having a shower and listen to the water as it falls on the ground, or the water falling on them. That's something you could do as well. At the end of a hard day, sometimes you just like to get into the shower and just stay there for a while, and it relaxes you. Going into the shower and closing your eyes and just listening to the water as it falls on the ground helps your child build those skills that helps them to read. Yeah. It might be a little different to what you may have learned in school, but every day information is developing. Every day new information is coming to the fore about things that help us to learn and to learn better. And this is a good relaxation tool, but it's a good tool to help build your child's auditory pathways that are within the brain. You can also play a recording of various sounds in nature and allow your child or children to purposefully listen to the sounds. I mentioned the birds earlier. It could be the recording of a waterfall. It could be water gushing down the side of the street after heavy rainfall. Sounds that your child may take for granted, or you may take for granted, may be tools that you can use to help your child succeed. Many of you like classical music, and classical music has also been touted as being very effective to aiding in brain development. You could put on some Mozart. Yeah, take the TV off, put on some Mozart and spend 10 to 15 minutes, or if you can do longer, fine. Spend that time with your child, listening to classical music, and help build your child's auditory pathways. And it includes these skills: distinguishing sounds in words, separating sounds, rhyming, hearing beginning and ending sounds, and blending sounds together. And that's how we make words, by blending sounds together. And for you who already are in possession of the JTab Junior suite, there are auditory activities already downloaded onto the tablet. And so you can do these activities with your child to assist in building those auditory skills that are so important to developing reading. These activities could last for approximately 10 to 15 minutes. And why I keep stressing 10 to 15 minutes, you know that our little darlings, they need to change activities a little often. You don't want to bore them with too much monotony, okay? Their attention span is about 10 to 15 minutes, so you want to keep the activities along that timeline. On the Kindle Enclosed with your JTab Junior, those of you who have it, those of you who don't have it yet and are about to get it, on the Kindle, on the suite, there are some additional activities that you can do with your child. And I am encouraging you to spend at least 10 to 15 minutes each day doing some sort of activity to help build your child's auditory pathway, and especially the age groups of about 2.5 to 5 or 6. You know, you want to spend about 10 to 15 minutes a day doing those things. As they get older, you may want to substitute different types of skills during that time. By building auditory skills, you are helping to make your child more aware of sounds in general, including the sounds in English which we speak. So, let's look at some English sounds. We're not going to look at all of them. We're just going to look at some basic ones. Let's do some sounds in the beginning. So, I'd like you to listen for the first sound. Now, I'm teaching you so that you can teach your children. Yes, many of us are at home, we're with our children for longer hours, and we're helping our children learn. So as you're starting to prepare your children for reading, it's important that they are able to be aware of the sounds within our language, which is English. Trini English, but English all the same. When you're paying attention, I also want you to pay attention to the shape of my mouth. In the professional field, we call this our oral cavity. So, look at my oral cavity and you will see the various shapes. Now, it's a good practice for you to get a mirror, and you can practice first, because a lot of times we produce the wrong sounds when we're giving our children the individual sounds. So it's a good practice for you to have a small mirror. You could have one for you and you can have one for your child. So you can compare your oral cavity to mine. So look at my mouth, look at your mouth, and see if the shape is similar. And then you can practice it with your child as well. Your child could look at the mirror and see if their mouth is being shaped the way it should be. Because there's some sounds that children have difficulty with, and a lot of those sounds are to the tail end of what we call our alphabet. You know, those sounds like y and w and x. Some of those sounds children have a lot of problems with, so pay attention as we go along. All right, so we want to listen for the first sound. So for instance, that's a bell. What's the first sound you hear in the word bell? Now I'm going to be using the symbol bell throughout the presentation, because the good thing about a bell is that it evokes certain ideas. When you ring a bell, what do you think about? The start of the school day, that's a bell. What else? When someone comes to your house, they ring the bell. So a bell is a symbol that's usually used to grab our attention. Yeah? So let's pay attention to the first sound. And what's the first sound in the word bell? Yes, b. We're not dealing with the letter name, we're dealing with the sounds. We want to be able to find those sounds. So we're looking for the first sound. What's it again? The first sound is the word bell. B. Excellent. So, watch the picture, say the word, feel the sound coming off of your lips. Remember, we're not going to think about the word or the letter. Yes, we're dealing with sounds. Phonemic awareness deals with sound. So throughout these exercises, you may or may not see the word depending on the activity that we're doing. But at no time should the word be shown to the child. And I'll remind you about that as we go along. All right, so we're dealing with bell. Ask the child, what is the picture about? The child should tell you it's a bell. Now, follow through the steps. Watch the picture. You show the child the picture. Let the child say the word. Remember, we're doing these activities with children who are 2.5, 3, 4-year-olds. And these children are not able to read as yet. But we don't want them to read. We just want them to give the sounds. Good? Let's try another one. This is a picture of, yes, it's a picture of cups. So we want to think again. What are we going to do? We are going to watch the picture, say the word, feel a sound coming off of your lips. So we're dealing with the first sound again. So we've watched the picture. It's a picture of cups. What's the first sound that you feel coming out of your mouth? Yes, cups. What's the first sound? So we are going to run through. What is the man doing? He's digging. We are going to dig a hole. What's the first sound in the word dig? Yes, D. So parents, you mimic these exercises with your children. And it's a good activity to start with your 2-year-olds to get them familiar. But you can do activities like this with children who are 5 and 6 and struggling to understand reading concepts so that they'll start to play with the sounds and that will influence their phonics and their reading. This is a picture of another way that you can teach this activity is by downloading this file off of our Kindle, which comes in your JTab Junior suite. And when you download the file, you'll be able to print the pictures. And this is a good teaching tool when you're teaching phonemic awareness. Remember, we're dealing with the sounds of the words. We are not dealing with how the word is spelled. So you do not need to show your child the spelling of the word. So this is a picture of yes, it's a fish. And what's the first sound? So you have two choices here. You can use the downloadable on the Kindle that comes in your JTab Junior suite, or you can download the file and you can print the pictures. Whichever is comfortable for you. The aim is to show the child the picture and be able to evoke the sound. Now I'll repeat this for you because sometimes people give the wrong sound for the particular sound that starts this picture. So I'll say it again. Fish. The first sound is. You see that my lips remain closed when I give the sound? Good job. Grapes. What's the first sound? Yes, G. What is this? Yes, it's a hat. What's the first sound? What is this a picture of? Good. It's a jug. What's the first sound? J. Excellent. What is this a picture of? Lime. What's the first sound? Now you see when I'm producing the sound, my tongue stays to the roof of my mouth. What's the word? Lime. What's the first sound? Yes? And this is a place that we haven't visited for a while. It's the mall. This is a picture of the... What's the first sound? Excellent. If you said, as you see, when I make the sound, my lips remain closed for the first sound. This is a picture of, yes, this item here holding the fish. What is it? Very well. It's a net. What's the first sound? Net. You see my tongue is to the front part of the roof of my mouth. Net. Easy one. What's this? Yes, it's a pen. What's the first sound? Excellent. Now this one is a bit tricky. What is happening to this piece of paper? That's a rip. It's a rip. Repeat after me. Rip. What's the first sound? Very good. And this is a picture of a ship. What's the first sound you hear? Ship. Good job. Shh. This is it's a van. What's the first sound? This is a place you go to catch water. Some of you may not know this. You may need to check your grandparents or your auntie or someone and ask them, what is the name of this place? So I'll give you a moment. Have you found out? Good. It's a well. And it's a place we fetch water. What's the first sound? W. Now look at the shape of my mouth. W. What's it? W. Well. Water. W. This is a picture of a color. What color is this? Good. It's the color yellow. Look at my mouth. What is the sound? Y. Y. Yellow. This is a number. It's the number 0. Say 0. What's the first sound you're feeling? You're feeling it on your tongue. Z, z, 0. What's the first sound? Z. Good job. So we've just finished all of our initial or beginning sounds. Good. So now let's move on to some more sounds. You're paying attention. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. You're looking at my mouth. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And you're using your mirror. your child has one and you have a mirror as well, a good size mirror would be, you know, in your compacts, you have your little powder compact. That size mirror is a good one to have. Yeah, it's easy to hold and it does the job really well. So let's go on. Aloe. Aloe. Say it again. Aloe. A nice open sound. Aloe. What's the first sound you hear? Ah. Good job. Air. Air. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. What's the sound? Good job. Eh. What's going on with this young man? He is ill. He is ill. What's the first sound? Eh. I know a lot of mummies using this these days because they're home. A lot of daddies too, making bread and cake and that kind of thing. So, and they tell you don't go near it because it's often very hot. What is this? It's an oven. What's that word? Oven. What's the sound? Oh. Now when I say oven, you see my mouth making a round shape like a circle, yeah? Oven. Put the bread in the oven. Did I say the sound O? First sound in the word oven is O. So you can construct similar exercises like these, yeah? I've given you some, but you can use other pictures. So for instance, I use bell, I use zero. You can make more cards and you can do more exercises practicing the beginning sounds. Now a lot of times children in this age group, they may have problems with sounds like sh and ch and z and y. And I mentioned some of them before. So what you can do is if when you're doing these exercises with your child, you realize that your child is having some difficulty with the sound sh. For instance, you can get more pictures. We only gave you one in this document, but you can add, so I have ship, but you can get some other pictures. When the child says shh, they'll feel the air passing on the bottom of their tongue. So you can get some more pictures of that particular sound. It may be the sound y, like in yellow. You can get some more pictures and you can let your child practice more beginning sounds. Okay? Good job. Let's do some rhyming sounds. Now, rhyming sounds is another area that if you see your child by the time they're 4, 5, they're having difficulty doing rhymes, that's a red flag for you and you know you need to do some phonemic awareness practice, okay? Let's look at a popular rhyme. That's my activity 1. We grew up on this, didn't we? Let's sing it together. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown and Jill came tumbling after. Don't we know this rhyme? If your children doesn't know this rhyme, you need to teach it to them. Because we grew up on rhymes, yes? So after you've taught the rhyme to your child or your children, then we are going to try to find the rhymes within the rhyme. Okay, let's find these rhymes together. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Mommy, daddy, children, what are the 2 words? Jill and hill. Jill and hill rhyme because they have the same middle sound and ending sound. E, j, Jill. Hill, Jill, hill. Can you find two more rhymes? Yes. To fetch a pail of water and after. The at the end of water and after rhymes. Any more? Yes. Jack fell down and broke his crown. Down and crown. So your ability to find the rhymes and your child's ability also to find the rhymes, those rhymes are pretty clear throughout the rhyme, Jack and Jill. So it's important that you're able to hear it. Remember that phonemic awareness builds on sound. We need to listen carefully. Our auditory pathway is directly connected to our ears. So it's our auditory pathway at work. So if your child has difficulty finding those rhymes, this is an activity that you need to do a lot of work with them. Yeah? So we've gone through the rhyme together, parents. Good. You sang it with your children, but it's important that you use the words and do not try to attempt having your children to read. They should only listen. They must not see or try to read the words you are presenting to them. So remember, your child isn't reading as yet, so don't try to force it on them. Let the natural process of learning and manipulating the sounds continue. Activity 2. Again, your child should hear the words you are saying, so you can use the tablet download or you can produce the sounds for your children. Again, it's expected that your child will not read, but your child will listen. Even if your child needs to close their eyes to find the sound, that helps some children, okay? So, which two words rhyme? That's the question you're asking your child. Which two words rhyme? Jill, hill, or Jill, head? And give your child a couple seconds for them to work it out. And of course, the answer is Jill, hill. Let's do another one for practice. Ned, pot, or Ned, red? Good. Ned, red. In this particular activity, you're going to give your child 3 words. You'll say the 3 words for your child, and your child will have to identify the 2 words within the 3 words that rhyme. Hat, men, sat. Again, if your child needs to close their eyes, you can repeat the words for them. Hat, men, sat. Which 2 words rhyme? Yes, hat and sat. Sun, fin, bun. Sun, fin, bun. Which 2 words rhyme? Yes, sun and bun. Again, you can feel free to construct similar exercises like these and practice with your children. Remember, you are seeing the words, not your child. Your child is listening to you, listening to the sounds, listening to the words, and being able to identify the rhyming words. Next activity. This activity comes from our Rhyme Time workbook within our JTab Junior suite. And in the Rhyme Time book, you have loads of rhymes that you can use. And if you are having difficulty constructing the activities yourself, then a good resource book would be the Rhyme Time book that comes in your kit. Okay? Skip, hop, skip, stop. Jump, hop, jump, stop. So, in addition to sourcing these rhymes within your Rhyme Time workbook, we've already put the rhymes on your Kindle for you. Yes, you can play the rhymes for your children. And the rhymes will be accompanied by music, making it fun. You can play the game with your child. They can skip, they can hop, they can jump, and they can stop. Okay? So you have the combination of the Rhyme Time workbook and the app on the Kindle that is accompanied by music, and it'll be fun. They'll be finding the rhymes and enjoying it as well. So, what are the two words that rhyme? Good job. Hop and stop. Once your child has mastered the skill of reorganizing beginning sounds and rhyming, you can move on to middle sounds. In these activities, I want you to instruct your child to tell you the middle sound. So remember earlier we did a lot of beginning sounds. Now we want to listen for middle sounds. Remember in the rhyming, they were listening for middle and ending sounds. So now we want to sharpen up that middle sound skill. All right, parents. Let's ping-a-ling-a-ling. Listen for the middle sound. Let's try it with the word bell, since we have the bell right there. I'm listening. Yes. The middle sound in the word bell is eh. So again, we want to watch the picture. We want to say the word. What sound comes second? Now, parents, you'll see I have an activity heading there. That's just for you. And I have a funny looking symbol there. That's okay. Just say ah. Okay? That funny looking symbol you say there, just say ah. All right? You don't say the letter to your child. You do not say the letter name to your child. I think I need that in bold and in red. Do not say the letter. Just say ah. So they're looking for the middle sound ah. Let's say hat. Next one, man. Next one, tap. Hat. Man. Tap. Hat, man, tap. What middle sound do you hear? Ah. Good job. Just to remind you, you can add pictures for your child, and you could do additional, you can do one picture at a time. You don't have to do 3. So when you download this particular exercise from the tab, then you can cut out the hat, and they can look for the hat separate, cut out the man, cut out the tap, okay? Middle sound, eh. and you have 3 pictures, you can do the same thing. You can do each one individually. You can show your child the picture. I actually have this one printed. And I actually have all 3 printed, but you can actually fold over the 2 and use one image at a time. And you see, I have no words on my card. I just have images. So this would be the hen. What's the middle sound? Eh. And this would be the jet, jet. What's the middle sound? Eh. It will make it easier if you actually cut the images out. And this is a bed, bed. What's the middle sound? Eh. Let's move on. Within the activities we'll provide for you, you'll be able to download the individual pictures so that you can print them and work with your children. What's the middle sound? Hair. If you said eh, you're absolutely right. Pig, bin, zip. Middle sound, eh. Remember, I'm teaching you so that you can teach your children and you can work with them so that you can build your awareness of sounds and how sounds in our language interact with each other. Yeah? Middle sound, dog, pot, log. What's the middle sound? Now, when you're working with your children, you don't always have to tell them the middle sound is You would have taught them the sound at some point before. So you can say the word dog and let them find the word for you. And then if they're having difficulty, you can tell them dog, the middle sound is and you can mix it up. You can mix it up. You don't have to do 3 activities. You could do 1 activity and you can mix up. You can mix it. You can say you can have a dog and you can have a hat and you can ask them which picture has the sound. Yeah? Or you can use a pig and you can use your log and you can say which picture has the sound or which picture has the sound. Okay? And the last one is which is different to It's a very, very slight difference. So pay attention to it. Cup, sun, bug. Yeah, and again, you can mix the sounds up, so you can put bed and sun, which one says or bed and sun, which one has the middle sound when you're looking for middle sounds with your children. Okay? Again, you can construct similar exercises to these, or you can use the images interchangeably so that your child can find the middle sounds within the pictures. And yes, we are working with specific types of middle sounds, as you would have recognized. We've been using short vowel sounds. For those of you who know a little bit more about reading, those are the sounds we've been using now, because when your child gets to Infants 1, these are the kinds of words they'll be doing, more monosyllabic words, words with 1 syllable, and usually they'll start with learning the beginning sounds and the middle sounds when they're doing their reading. And that's why we are working on these sounds first. Okay? So, ping-a-ling-a-ling. We're moving on to finding ending sounds. Good? And let's go back to our bell. We had the beginning sound. It was. We had the middle sound. It was. And now we have the ending sound. It is. B, e, b, e, bell. Watch the picture. Say the word. What's the last sound before you close your mouth? This is only for your benefit. You do not say the name of the letter. I've given you those 2 lines there which says you're only giving the sound. Only giving the sound. D. What's the sound? D. This is a bird. Its ending sound is D. Now, we haven't been taught this conventionally in schools, so this may be something new to a lot of you, but I'm really requesting that you remember that you're only teaching your child sounds during these lessons, okay? Bird. What's the last sound? D. Road. What's the last sound? D. Pond. What's the last sound? Pond. So again, you can print the pictures individually. You can show them one at a time to your child and let your child find the last sound. Remember, what's the sound? Drum. Before or when you close your mouth, what's the sound? Drum. Swim. Drum. What's the ending sound? Swim. What's the ending sound? Jam. What's the ending sound? Net. What's the ending sound? Cat. What's the ending sound? Ant. What's the ending sound? This one, pay attention because sometimes children get the and the mixed up. So we're working on You see my mouth? Pin. What's the ending sound? What's the last sound in the word pin? Pin. Lion. Fan. Okay? Good job. So you can construct similar exercises like these and practice the skill of finding the ending sound with your children. Parents, you can find all of the activities needed to assist your child with the rhyming and building their phonemic awareness within their Rhyme Time workbook and on their JJ&Friends Kindle that they will get within their JTab suite. The apps are there with lots of music where your child will have so much fun learning, and it's accompanied with the workbook, so you need both things together. If you have any questions, you can ask them at JJ&Friends, our Facebook page, or IG, JJ&Friends Limited, or www.jjandfriendsct.com. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you had fun learning, and I hope you learned a lot.